I lied about curing my asthma. So I did a video yesterday about how I reversed my asthma of 28 years. I was basically born with asthma. It was a lifelong affliction until I was 28 years old. And the back to school article that prompted yesterday's video on asthma. So I've been told this before by medical professionals, and I was speaking with a friend last night talking about my YouTube video, and she goes, "You didn't cure your asthma, you basically are controlling the asthma triggers." So I guess that's the official definition by the medical establishment, is that, I haven't had an asthma attack for 15 years because I changed my diet, I lost some weight, I detoxed, I did bowel cleansing, and that was all in the video yesterday. I'll put a link below in the description to that video, because a lot of people ask me all the time, "Marcus, you grew up with asthma, and now you don't have asthma anymore." So all of these control triggers, these triggers that would trigger asthma, I've been told by other medical professionals too, doctors, that the triggers you're controlling the triggers now. It's not that you've actually cured the asthma, you're just controlling the triggers. This is how the mindset of the medical establishment is. Guys, I haven't had an asthma attack in 15 years. And it's not that I'm controlling the triggers, I've gone way above the triggers. I was never a runner. Now I run marathons. Now I hike. Now I do all these activities that I couldn't do as a kid, because as a kid I would get an asthma attack. So I'm in my personal opinion, way past controlling these triggers. I've exceeded the triggers. I should be having an asthma attack for the stuff that I do, for the strenuous activities I do, for the bike rides, for all this. I should be. I go around, one of the triggers people say is dogs or cats. I personally don't own a dog or a cat. I grew up with a dog and a cat, but I go to see my parents' dogs all the time. I take them running with me. I put them in the car here. They're with me a lot. I'm around dogs a lot. So why is that not, the medical establishment? It's like they don't want to recognize me as curing myself from asthma. They want to set me up to say, well, you've controlled the triggers, but you can still have an asthma attack at any point in your life, and you still need to be diagnosed with asthma. You still need to have that as a label. And I gotta tell you something, when you put a label on yourself, that's the biggest problem out there, because people believe the stuff that they're told. They actually believe it, and it's like the placebo effect. You think you're getting a pill to take care of something, and it's a sugar pill. Of course you're going to feel better because your mind is already set up. But when you set somebody up and like, "Oh, you have asthma," and you haven't cured yourself, then one person would be like, "Well, I'm going to always have asthma my whole life, so what am I going to do?" A few years back, my doctor called me, and my PSAs were elevated, extremely elevated, because I had a urinary tract infection, and I had just run a big race, a 19-mile race, and my doctor calls me in on a Saturday, and he's like all worried, and he called my restaurant 5 times that day, and the staff was like, "Well, he's not in yet, he's not in. He needs to come to my office right away. So when I get to his office at like 4:30, he's like, "You need to bring your wife." So I brought my wife. We sat down, and he goes, "Your PSAs are extremely elevated," which I knew they were elevated. That was no-brainer, because I had a urinary tract infection, like I said. And he goes, "Highly likelihood that you have prostate cancer." I said, "Okay, thanks." And he looked at me and goes, "You're taking this very well." And I said, "Because I don't have prostate cancer, doc. I don't have prostate cancer." He goes, "Well, you should be very worried. You got to go see a urologist." And he's like going on and on. And he's like, "Why aren't you worried?" I said, "I'm not worried because I don't have prostate cancer." But the average person would get so worried and stressed out until they go take more tests and more results. He's like, I need more blood and urine right now. I'm like, "I'm not giving you anything. I just ran 19 miles. I'm dehydrated. I still have a urinary tract infection. I still don't feel good. Why would I just give you more stuff that I know is going to be off?" I said, "You know what, doc, when I feel good in 2 weeks, I will come back and I will give you what you want when I feel better." And doctors a lot of times aren't used to being told that, "Hey, I'm the patient, and this is what I'm doing." They're used to saying, "Well, you're diagnosed for this, and this is what you need." And most people just go along with it. My mother was in the hospital this summer, not this summer, but in the fall time, or in the spring, I forgot when it was, and They told her, your heart enzymes are elevated. This enzyme is elevated. This and this. You probably had a heart attack. Your blood pressure is high. And I asked them, I said, when was the last time she drank water? She's been here 4 hours. Oh, she hasn't drank really any water. I said, get her some water in here. I said, Mom, you have to drink this bottle, and this bottle. I want you to drink all this water. So she starts pounding the water back. Within 10 minutes, her blood pressure starts dropping. I was like, she's dehydrated, people. You don't even know basic dehydration. She's dehydrated. Get some fluids in her. Her blood will be less sticky. It'll be more free-flowing. Her blood won't have to pump as much, and then really address it from there. My wife's grandfather, same thing. Went to the hospital yesterday. Enzymes are elevated. We have to transfer you to this other hospital. We have to transfer you here. And my wife and I are looking at each other, and we're like, tell them no. You don't have to go where they're sending you. They wanted to send my mom to another hospital. My mom's like, I don't want to go. I'm like, let's tell the doctor. But it's the patient. The patient has to tell the doctor. I told the doctor she doesn't want to stay. And he's like, well, that's not your choice. That's her choice. And of course, then they give you the riot act. We don't recommend you leave. We have to have you sign a waiver. It's extremely dangerous if you walk out of here not following our directions. And this could happen. And it's just like, really? And it's just, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great advancements in medicine. A lot of really good advancements in medicine. I've used medicine in the past. I would use medicine in the future. I would use the hospital. I would use a lot of things. But here's my point, people. Big pharma is abusing legitimate medicine and overburdening us, overprescribing all this other crap in the name of profits. It's all about the profits for big pharma. That's it. Okay? So yeah, people think, oh, this is a public service, Vaccines are a public service. Vaccines are a multi-billion-dollar business. The more vaccines that they can manufacture, the more so-called epidemics that they can create, the more they're going to sell this stuff. The more they can put fear in you that there's this virus, there's that virus, there's avian flu, whatever it is. The more they convince you that this stuff is out there lurking and it's going to get you, the more their sales go up. It's a direct correlation to their sales. They create the problem. They're marketers. Pharmaceutical companies are marketers. When you go to the hospital or you go to the doctor and they start administering all these tests for you, that's a marketing scheme. That's a total marketing scheme. Yeah, there might be something legitimately wrong with you, but those tests are set up to find things wrong with you and find procedures to do and find drugs to administer. So, yes, I guess according to the mainstream medical, I lied about my asthma. My asthma's not cured, even though I haven't had an asthma attack in 15 years. I can have an asthma attack at any time, even though I've well exceeded the triggers and gone above and beyond what used to trigger me as a kid, because what used to trigger me doesn't trigger me anymore. So, according to them, I'm not cured. I couldn't cure myself. I didn't reverse it. I'm still asthmatic, even though I haven't touched an asthma spray in over 15 years. I haven't touched any of the meds. I haven't been... See, the point of my previous video on this was that asthma is part of an underactive immune system. So your immune system is weak. You strengthen your immune system and you strengthen everything else in your body. I mentioned yesterday I got pneumonia 1 year twice. I'd get pneumonia every other year. I'd miss tons of school days because I couldn't breathe. And the cold weather would get me. I'd walk outside in 10-degree weather. And if I wasn't bundled up, and that would get me. That was a trigger. Now I run 10, 15, 20 miles in 0-degree weather. And that doesn't get me. That should be a major red flag, a major trigger. But it's not a trigger. So I'm just going to stick with the official medical statement, and I'm not cured, but I don't have asthma. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe, pass it on, all that kind of stuff. Share this with somebody who has asthma, who would like a different point of view, and head over and look at my channel and get to some of my other asthma videos. I have several videos on asthma. I like sharing my success story.